There's players that have their own clothing line and stuff, which all for them. I don't know who the hell's going to buy it, but anyway, we'll talk to him about that. But first, we're going to be joined by Wayne Gretzky and Patrick Waugh here. JC has his sweater on.
Hey, Wayne never wore this blue. Neither did Patrick.
I know.
The Lightning tonight, do they have to do it? It's Game 7 time. $400 a ticket for the lower bowl at Amalie Arena. It's do or die. You work all season long, and now you've come down to one game. There's no tomorrow if you lose. So it's one of those things where, you had a 2-0 lead in Game 6. Probably should have won, but give credit to the Islanders for scoring 3 goals unanswered. They took out Kucherov with a blatant cross-check. The official was right there. The referee didn't make the call. Don't understand why. Doesn't make sense. Cross-check is a penalty. It is all the time. Doesn't matter if it's malicious or not. That has nothing to do with anything. That was the excuse the referee gave for not calling that. And then there's Matthew Barzal for New York, who basically goes across the face with a stick, gets a 5-minute major misconduct penalty in Game 5, does not get suspended for Game 6, becomes a huge factor in the win in Game 6. So New York's getting the home cooking, or the calls, I should say, and Tampa's got to overcome that. They've got to overcome that and try to win Game 7 and win Game 7, and then they'll play the shocking Montreal Canadiens, who somehow beat Vegas, which is that's one of the bigger upsets you'll see in hockey right there. This is a team Montreal that barely made the playoffs. This is a team that was down 3-1 to Toronto in their first round, and it's really amazing how they have come together and won basically something like 13 out of 16 games here in the last couple of weeks. It's unbelievable. Good for them, though. It's a shocker.
Yeah, well, JC did know Canadians. They only played basically a round robin the entire year with just the Canadians, right?
Yeah, in Canada, and they played in empty arenas the entire season. Last night they had a whopping. This is what's crazy about Montreal and the Canadians. Period, meaning the country. So yesterday was Saint Jean Baptiste Day, which is the equivalent of July the 4th. So it's a big holiday in Montreal and Quebec province, and Montreal allows 3,500 fans in a 20,000-seat arena, but just outside the arena, there's 25,000 fans packed in like Mardi Gras. So if there's any logic behind that, I'd love somebody to give it to me. But they didn't have anybody in the arena. Everybody was outside the arena watching on television. And, the Canadians just play better. Their forwards were better than Vegas's. Vegas's forwards, that line that was so good for the entire season and throughout the playoffs, beating Colorado 4 straight games in 6, was non-existent. And so Vegas doesn't move on, and Montreal does now. And it's odd because they won the Western Conference Championship, even though they're an Eastern Conference team, but that's just the way it worked out with COVID. They haven't been since 93. They haven't been in the Stanley Cup final since 1993, Patrick Waugh. So
that's why I called you Patrick Waugh. He was a great goalie.
He was a great one. He was one of the best. Yeah.
All right. So JC will be fired up. What time's the puck drop?
I think they're going to start at 8:00, and another late start. I don't know why they have to play these games at 8:00, 9:00, whatever. But it's an 8:00 game. Tampa is almost a 2-1 favorite in the game. The total is 5 goals. The series is tied 3-3. There will be 19,400 in Amalie Arena tonight. Tampa's going to be on fire all day long. And if they can win, they go to defend their cup championship against a team they match up and beat like drums, and have beaten like a drum when they played them over a year ago. They did not play Montreal this year. But Montreal's a good team. Look, you can't be an average team and get through what they just gotten through. So could be a good cup. Canada versus America.
Sandy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. That will be Tampa Bay tonight, a big outdoor party with a large screen. Well, I've never understood why people go to the arena
because they like to be around people, Shane. They like to be around people and celebrate with each other when their team wins and go crazy and throw.
What happens when their team loses?
That's very sad. It's very sad.
Well, then you
don't go there expecting to lose, QB. You go there expecting to win.
Right. But I've never understood how people can bring their chairs and all that stuff and sit outside the damn arena. You could be doing that at your house. Makes no sense to me.
Maybe, just maybe, this is a shocker to our audience, but maybe people want to get out of the house.
Okay, so maybe
out of the house.
Maybe these people can have friends over to their house or go to someone else's house. But why you drive and deal with parking and traffic and then have to deal with it after the game when you aren't even in the damn arena?
Well, it's a party. It's a big party. It's a party. It's not a house party. It's an outdoor party. Outdoors, the air, the freshness, the environment, the fellow fanrattery. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. They're going to have fans, and in New York, they'll have fans in the arena. There's no game in the arena, and they'll put the game up on the screen. So fans will be sitting in the arena in New York without a game going on, but they'll all be looking at the screen. Even dumber. So what's dumber? Having fans in an empty arena where there's no game looking at the screen, or having a street party? I think I'll take.
I'm not sure which one. Rick says, "Why do you tailgate, Shane?" Tailgating is different because you tailgate, and then you go into the game. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Now, there are people that tailgate and just sit outside and watch it that drive from Miami, which I cannot figure out. They drive from Miami and Tampa just to put their picnic table out, set up their TV, and watch the game when they could have done that and saved 5 hours of driving.
Well, it's about the environment. It's about the atmosphere. You know what it is, QB.
I understand that, but if you're going to do all that, you might as well go to the damn game. Replace your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. June is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with JC on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline, we're talking about attending games but not going to the game. We'll be joined by Edgar Thompson, and we're going to talk about the NIL, which I know we talk about it every day on this show, but it just, it all.
You're really worried about that.
And nobody knows anything about it. That's what's crazy.
Well, I mean, you'll learn as it goes, kind of thing. A lot of times we would go to class in school, we didn't know anything about the subject we were about to study, and we learned as we went.
Well, my point is the people that will be governing this don't even know. When you went to your class, your teachers knew what they were teaching.
That's true.
Okay, so I don't know, because here's the deal: if you're a player, JC. And let's say Campus USA Credit Union comes to JC and they want you to put your name. They're going to fire Coach Spurrier and hire JC's picture and put you in the lobby. You have to. There's a lot of, I don't say legal stuff, but you have to go to some person at the university and say, okay, I've been approached by Campus USA Credit Union. This is what we're going to be doing. I still don't know how that's going to happen. I really don't think there are going to be a lot of businesses calling up wanting to pay players. I could be 100% wrong.
No, you're probably right.
Unless you are a marquee player.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's a business decision that folks will make. Once one does it, though, that's the chain reaction of business and marketing. When one does it, somebody else is going to have to do it. A competitor will do it, and it'll start to self-fulfill. And so once the worm is out, once the genie is out of the bottle, it's not coming back in. It's going to change forever. And I was listening to Terry Norvell the other day when he had you on, when you had him on, and I really liked him throughout the years. I think his opinions are really, really dead on many cases. But one I disagree with is how he feels the fans will be affected adversely, or will kind of reject this whole notion. I think all the fans care about, Shane, is winning and losing. And I think really when it comes down to your school, whether it's your school against your friend's school or your school against some other random school, you're always going to root for that school, whether these guys get money or not. And if it is professionalizing the sport, then that's what's going to happen. The NFL is the most popular sport by viewership in the country, and they all get paid. So I don't think fans are going to turn this off. I also think that as we learn how this is going to work, it'll get a little bit more clear and they'll start to learn how to deal with it. But it could be a little rough. It could be a little sketchy there to begin with. And I don't know.
The only thing
it's hard
where
to predict what's going to happen.
I shouldn't say I agree or disagree with his opinion, your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about college athletes getting paid, the problem, JC, is not everybody that's playing is going to get paid.
Yeah,
that is a problem.
You know what they'll get though? They'll get what they've always gotten, and that's a free ride, maybe.
Right. But I'm saying,
they'll get
JC,
healthcare.
think, put yourself as an 18, 19, 20-year-old,
and somebody gets money.
And this guy over here is doing exactly what I'm doing on a daily basis. I'm getting my education and my Pell Grant and my cost of attendance check, but he's getting a couple thousands of dollars weekly or however it's figured out.
Yeah.
And he's driving a new car. Here I am. I'm still driving my scooter. I'm telling you, it's going to cause problems. And that's my concern. I still personally don't think there's going to be pictures of players on billboards. I don't think. But here's the thing. Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, Florida released a statement about the NIL yesterday, do's and don'ts. I got it. I briefly read it. It had something about how like boosters cannot pay. Dan, if you read it, correct me if I'm wrong. It said something about boosters or people that give money to the university are not allowed to be a part of this, which is ridiculous. And maybe I read it wrong.
How are you going to stop
if I'm
that?
a Bull Gator, Gator and I own a construction company and I'm giving money to the school, I'm going to give money to whatever player I want to give money to if that's allowed now. So it's I don't know. We're going to talk to Edgar Thompson about that. He's up to date because he wrote a really good article yesterday.
But the other thing that I do agree with Terry on from that show on Wednesday was the idea of giving the top 4 seeds both a home game and an off week. We'll see if that happens. It might not happen, but I think it should, because it's conceivable that, let's say you're Florida and you've gone 12-0 and you just beat Alabama in the SEC championship game to go 13-0, and you're really happy that you're not playing the following week, but Notre Dame is hosting a game, or Georgia is hosting a game somewhere, or Alabama is, the team you just beat, is now playing at home against Wisconsin. The bad news is you don't get to host a game, and your fans have to travel to 4 straight neutral sites, starting with that conference championship that you just won. It's impossible. Nobody's going to be able to do that. Nobody. So except moms and dads, maybe. So they've got to figure out that logistical part of it. And that to me is the biggest concern for my, let's tweak this and make it right thing.
Sandy says coaches are overpaid. It's the players that make the coaches look good and cash their paychecks. That is true. But again, like I said, if these guys are going to be making money, everybody's got to be making money. And not every player is going to be making money. And that is going to cause friction in the locker room and friction on that sideline. I can guarantee you that. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of traction there, even though I think you're right.
Because nobody wants to admit that, because you can't have a player X come out publicly and say, I'm pissed off because player Y just made $10,000 this week. They're not going to come out publicly and say that. But I've been in way too many locker rooms, and I know how the game works, and it's never people have never been legally paid in collegiate athletics. And I'm telling you right now, if a receiver or a running back is not getting the touches he wants, because if you don't get touches, JC, you can't score touchdowns. If you don't score touchdowns, you ain't going to get paid.
Right.
So there's going to be people getting pissed off. I'm telling you.
It looks like the coaches just got to have another responsibility on their hands.
And I don't understand why these coaches, I can't understand why the college coaches are so in favor of this.
Well, I think why they're scared to talk out or speak out against that. Publicly. Well, right, because they know that the look or the PR side of it could work against you in recruiting or in the transfer portal. Screw that guy.
You have to go along with what everybody else is saying.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, if you put every one of these major college coaches, one of those lie detector tests or whatever, they do not like this at all. Dan says, here it is, JC, and this makes absolutely no sense to me, and I did read it correctly. Boosters can't compensate or arrange compensation to a current or prospective athlete. Now, what the hell is the NIL then?
Here was an idea I thought of the other day. You know how coaches pick their players when they go recruit? Let's let the responsibility of who gets paid be on the coaches and let them do the picking and the choosing. And
that's the way it's going to work is because the head coach is going to tell Booster X, I really need that wide receiver out of Tampa. So call the big weeds in Tampa and let's make sure we get him. All it is it's going to be a legal way to pay kids to come play for you. But I don't understand how I read it correctly yesterday. I'm going to read it again. Boosters can't compensate or arrange compensation to a current or prospective athlete.
They just have to go through the channels.
So basically, if I'm a car dealer and I'm a Bull Gator, I might have to have some buddy of mine pay him instead of me since I'm a booster.
Well, it's going to be facilitated through the university somehow. And that way they feel like they can control the cash flow. And if they think they can control the cash flow, if they think they can, then that's how it's going to be distributed. And it'll be more orderly and less discretionary. That's the problem you're talking about, is the discretionary flow of cash to players. And so what they're going to try to do is control that through the cash flow channels of the school and let the school deal with how it happens for those kids, I think is how it's going to happen. Because if you just have Wells Fargo sending out checks left, right, you're going to have an absolute chaos. And that's what you're scared about. You're scared of chaos.
Well, you can have all the correct channels going through it that I'm going to get $10,000 to go to the Oaks Mall and sign autographs. Well, okay, I'm going to get a check for $10,000, but you don't think whoever's doing that is going to give me money on the side? It's going to happen. Trust me. Yeah. Sandy says NFL players get different paychecks. I don't know what that means, but anyway, if you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Call them today. That's QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. Speaking with JC.
Right now, it sounds like you got joint. Sounds like this whole issue is giving you joint pain in your brain.
No, I can't understand how. I don't believe the college coaches are in favor of it, but you're exactly right. They can't talk negative about it publicly because it will kill them in recruiting.
It will kill them.
But B, whenever I just read, because I skimmed through the email I got from the university, and where it says boosters can't compensate or arrange compensation, well, pretty much every booster has some type of business. So it makes no sense. Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. You think Jeffrey Meldon's going to pay somebody? We don't know. Hopefully that doesn't.
Why don't you ask him?
Hopefully that doesn't let these glorified 7-on-7 coaches become middlemen in all of this and get a cut. If boosters can't pay them, they're going to have contacts to funnel it through. Well, the glorified 7-on-7 coaches it's already a crazy business. It's all that is like the old
AAU basketball. It's the same damn thing. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Did you watch any of the Clippers last night? It was late.
I watched briefly, like the first quarter before I went to bed. The Clippers are now down 2-1.
They dominated that game last night. And then, of course, the night before, I didn't have a chance to talk about this on Thursday, but how about those Atlanta Hawks? You know, those Atlanta Hawks are just flying, baby. They are.
You would be a great mascot for them. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen the St. Joseph's University. Their mascot is a hawk. Yeah, and he dresses up in a hawk outfit.
The Mountain Hawks. I love it.
He never stops flapping his wings the entire game. That would be a great job for you.
Trae Young almost had 50 points in this game. He is the next Steph Curry superstar.
Somebody told you that about 3 years ago. I don't know who that was.
About Trae Young? Never heard of him before this year. But hey, look, good for those Hawks, man. And now, I fully expect Milwaukee will win game 2. This is going to be one of those 6-7 game series that I would think. But the Hawks are the surprise story of the league, of the playoffs, I should say. It's amazing. And, they do it with a bunch of guys and a superstar. That's it. And he seems to be the new Steph Curry, here in the Eastern Conference, part of the NBA, if you're interested in that, if you're watching it. But Atlanta is a team that's never won anything in basketball. And they are 3 games from playing for a title. So I'm kind of
Okay. So
happy about that.
Sandy, we're going back to Sandy's question here.
Well, Sandy's really into this show.
Yeah, Kyle Trask is not making as much money as Brady. Can't believe you don't understand what I meant. No. In the NFL, you know what you're going to make. There are minimum salaries, and then the superstars make X amount of dollars. Nobody has problems with contracts in the NFL. I mean, if you have a good year and you're on your second year, you want an extension and all that, but you know what you're going to make.
Well,
my point, Sandy, is your starting quarterback at whatever college X could make this amount of money. Your star running back may not make any money, or your right tackle is not going to make any money. And that's what's going to cause friction. NFL, everybody knows they're getting paid. You get paid win, lose, or draw on Tuesday. A check will be deposited into your account.
Right. And you have agents who work out your financial deals.
Yes.
And then you realize that as a newly drafted player into this league, you're not going to get anywhere near the greatest quarterback that ever played. Okay. Right. He's a Hall of Famer. There is no look, all Kyle Trask is thrilled to death that he gets to stand next to Tom Brady on the practice field. That's what Kyle Trask is excited about, because he's going to learn from one of the best that ever played. So it's a great opportunity for Kyle Trask, whether he's making $500,000 or $1.5 million or $20 million in 10 years, whatever the case may be. He doesn't care about that. Tom Brady's going to make his $60 million or whatever it is, and he deserves it. It's just the idea of learning next to a guy like that. Yeah, NFL is a complete different. Yeah, it's not even.
No, guys, you know what you're going to be making.
Right.
How about your boy Kramer Hickok? You know who
Kramer?
that is?
Help me here.
He is leading the Travelers Championship.
Oh, okay.
At 7 under par. Never heard of that dude ever.
Yeah, no, golf usually goes on my TV during the weekend. I mean, and let's not forget about Satoshi Kodera. And
he's 6 under.
Okay, well, Satoshi Kodera is right there. Okay, and then you have Tyler Gooch, another big one, and there's your, there's your field after a major. It's kind of like that. That's how it goes. Even though Dustin Johnson's the defending champion of this deal, I'm going to give you the top 4. You got a guy named Hostler, Norlander, Garnett, McNeely, Gooch, Kodera, and Hickok. It sounds like a baseball team's lineup. And, there's my Bubba Watson, the guy I picked on Wednesday, QB. Am I on fire or what?
This is Bubba but my guys
one of his
are only
favorite courses. You didn't
my guys
know
are 1 under par.
But you didn't know Bubba that plays this course great like I did. See, I did homework. I've watched this tournament before. I love this tournament, actually. So Bubba's 4 under and on his way right now, playing the back 9 this morning. So it could be good this weekend. Could be good golf to watch. But to me, tonight is all that matters. We've got to have Mississippi State beat Texas, and we've got to have Tampa Bay beat New York, and all will be right with the world.
But my question is, if Tampa Bay does lose, what's going to happen to JC?
He's not going to wear this for another 4, 6, 5, 7 months.
Did you pick Tony Finau?
I did.
Okay, he's 6 over, but hey, my guy Matt Wolf's 5 over. I can't even find Koepka on here. Koepka must have just withdrew.
He just why does he want to play in a tournament like this? But listen, we get 3 picks, QB. And if one of those 3 picks win, you become a genius because there's 100-something players in the field. So just remember, this wizard right here had John Rahm the last 2 times he should have won, and he won one of them, and he should have won the other time. So just think about it.
All right, let's talk about this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. $1,000 sign-on bonus for qualified positions. Call them today. That's Comfort Temp at 352-376-2366. This day in sports in 1997 in the NBA draft, some really good player out of Wake Forest, power forward. Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
First overall pick. First pick by the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and he stayed there. He never left. That's kind of rare, isn't it? That a guy never leaves. Kind of like Larry Bird, never played for another team. So, that's interesting. Very interesting.
All right, we failed to mention a College World Series cranks back up today. You got NC State NC State is playing Vanderbilt. Vandy has to win 2 games to go to the championship series. Mississippi State plays tonight against Texas. Same way with Texas, they have to win 2 to beat Mississippi State. I'm gonna predict. Well, I've already predicted Mississippi State versus Vanderbilt before the thing started.
You did predict that.
But I think both. It wouldn't shock me if both NC State and Mississippi State lose today.
No, absolutely not. Texas to me is the real deal. I think they are capable of winning this. I think they went in as the 2 seed overall in the postseason in college baseball. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they had to play another game between those 2 teams. I'm just hoping that State can keep it going. The magic seems to be with them right now. They had the pitching in their first game, and they had the late inning heroics in their second. They're going to have 20,000 fans at the ballpark tonight, but Texas is not intimidated by any of this. They're very good. Texas is the team to me that if whoever wins the Mississippi State-Texas side of it, I think will win the College World Series.
Yeah, it just depends on like the pitching rotation.
Hard to go against. Yeah, it's hard to go against that, but they don't hit the ball like these other 3 teams can. And NC State right now is riding on such a momentum rush that it's hard to pick against them right now. I mean, the way they came back and beat Arkansas, the way they've gone through their first 2 games in this deal, I mean, how can you go against NC State? But when will that start to change for them, or will they just run it out? So I think you got the 4 best out of the 8 that were there. I think you do have the 4 best teams here finishing it off. And certainly an advantage goes to the 2 teams that only have to win once. But just remember, when they say, well, they have to beat this team twice, if you just get that first win, then that second game then becomes a whole different scenario for both teams. So to me, if you're going to take Texas out, you better do it tonight. You better not give them another chance, because Texas, to me, is capable of just running this thing right on through the door. So I just think the way they hit, the way they are coached, the way they pitch, they are the complete package. I think Texas is a scary team.
The other day, you were talking about how they hadn't seen any pitching like they do in the SEC.
Well, they hadn't. They hadn't seen Will Bednar, who threw his best game of his life. Do you think Will Bednar's striking out 15 batters tonight?
No, but he could strike out 10.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm rooting for it. I want it to happen, but it's true. They saw the best pitching they'd ever seen, but that's a team that I think can overcome these kinds of games because of the sheer overall talent that they have. They're very good.
Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, rain again tonight in Omaha. Hope they get the games in. Well, the first game starts at 2, right?
The first game should be okay. Yeah, that's a 2:00 game, but this Mississippi State game could be at 10:00. I mean, for God's sakes. And it's tough for these fans. I mean, imagine being a Mississippi State fan and trying to decide if you're going to go to the first 2 games, or if they win those, going to later games. Or then let's say they had lost and then won again. The scheduling, it's very hard to plan as a fan for something like this unless you just flat out say, I'm spending a week or 9 days in Omaha, Nebraska. And not many folks can do that during the middle of the week in the summer. So I hope. I mean, you're right. They're going to have 20,000 fans there. I don't know if they'll all get in, but they're going to have 20,000 fans in Omaha. That place is.
Before we let you go, JC, we got a text here on the Titan MR text line. It comes from Larry. Larry says, JC, are you meeting with any clients today in your hockey jersey?
If they like the Lightning, that's certainly a good idea, Larry. Thank you for that suggestion. I might just bring it to the office and say, listen, it's Casual Friday. And we're going to talk about your millions of dollars, but I really hope the Lightning win tonight. No, I probably would not do that, QB, unless I knew that this person was a Tampa Bay fan.
I think it's a good look in your sweater, your Tampa Bay sweater, your pleated pants, and your penny loafers with the pennies in them still.
Oh, and by the way, I did get my FootJoy loafers. The damn things are a size too big. I have to send them back, QB.
They're 8.5s?
No, they're 9s, and I needed an 8.5. I did it.
Oh, dear Lord.
I mean, my toe, I had this much left of my shoe, and they sent me wides because I have a wide foot that's, and the damn thing was I had this much space. And I said,
so you need what size again?
I sized it 8.5. They sent me 9s. I think I can get by with an 8.5.
Just wear an extra pair of socks.
Yeah, well, I didn't know you wore socks with these loafers.
I need to see what these loafers look like, JC.
Shoot, if I had them, I'll tell you what. I'll bring them on Monday. I won't send them off until next week anyway. So I'll
just take a picture so all our loyal listeners can see the shoes that you won or they gave you out at Kiowa.
Yeah, and when I fitted them out there, it seemed like 9 was the right size. But
Are they FootJoy loafers?
FootJoys they size big. FootJoy golf shoes size big, so they're not like Adidas. So
all right, JC. Well,
shoot.
Good luck to one of your hockey teams tonight.
Yeah,
and I don't know who else. You'll be very nervous tonight. So good luck.
I really want Tampa to win. I have no love at all for the Islanders. So, yeah, let's go for the Tampa. All right, my man.
We're going to take our first time out. We're going to come back and we're going to talk to somebody that actually knows about the name, image, and likeness, and we'll get him to answer our questions. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Silverback Concrete Company. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios at Celebration Point. That's where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Le Macaron French Pastries, Kilwins, and coming summer of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors Tailgate and Rooftop Bar. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're going to now go to the Titan MR hotline. We're going to be joined by the Orlando Sentinel beat writer for the Florida Gators, Edgar Thompson. Good morning, Edgar. How are you?
Hey, Shane. Doing well, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I usually, when I'm at night, I'll start looking at Twitter, what's going on in the sports world. I saw your article, and if anybody wants to check out Edgar on Twitter, it's at OS Gators. And you did a great piece, I thought, on the name, image, and likeness, which kicks in on July the 1st. We talked about it a bunch on my show. I know there's a lot of questions out there. You talked to Coach Mullen about it. You talked to some players about it. Just kind of fill us in on what you know and what they were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming Thursday in Florida, at least. One of 6 states where this name, image, and likeness legislation is going to kick in, and players will now be allowed to profit from name, image, and likeness, which is something the NCAA for more than a century has pushed this amateurism model, right? Even though it's a billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, right? I mean, Mark Emmert, makes whatever $3 million, and I mean, it's anything but amateurism. I mean, Dan just got his big raise, as we know, the contract extension, and look, it's what the market will bear. But the athletes have been left out in the cold in a lot of ways. And they did get a cost of attendance stipend in 2015-16, which is generous on some levels. If you think about, $3,800 extra dollars a semester divided by 4 months, that's a little bit more cash than these guys and athletes certainly ever got. But now it's a chance for them to really capitalize in some cases. How that looks, nobody knows, because I mean, for one, Shane, like, look, you're wearing your Gator logo right there, right? Well, Emory Jones, they want Spurrier's, you mentioned, Gridiron Grill. Let's say coach wants him to come sign autographs on a Tuesday after a game. Well, unless this is passed through the Gator Properties Inc., which owns the logo, I guess you would say owns, I'm not sure what the exact phrasing would be. He can't just throw his jersey on and head over there and start signing autographs unless this stuff is vetted, unless Spurrier's is paying Gator Properties for the right to even show the logo, the jersey, all this stuff. So that's a whole little layer that I didn't even really know about.
But using your example there, if I read it correctly, and Dan, because I got an email from the UAA yesterday, and Dan put it up here, and now it's off my Facebook screen. But Coach Spurrier, technically, with his name on the restaurant, couldn't pay a player to come there because he's an employee of the university, but he's also he's probably a Gator booster.
Well, he can't because he's the ambassador to sports, but like, let's say Freddie Weeby, is working with them. I mean, I think he's a booster. Look, someone probably can work that out somehow. But again, you're making a great point. There are layers to this. I mean, what was Dan's comment? I mean, Dan was like, I had the story up on my thing, but of course it's kicking me out because I don't have the subscription pulled up, but I got it here. He's like, there are going to be growing pains, of course. It's a big guessing game. I think we're all trying to figure out anybody who tells you it's not. They're just making it up. I mean, you're talking about the guy who runs the football program, who is Dan Mullen's extremely sharp, nuanced thinker, and doesn't just wade into things without knowing what he's talking about. And he doesn't know how it works, right? I mean,
right.
It's if he doesn't know, how are we supposed to really understand it? And the players certainly don't. And like I talked to Zach Carter the other day for a feature I'm working on. Shane, I didn't realize that UF was going to be coming out with this yesterday. I had a teeny bit of a heads up before it did, but that was it. But I had spoken to a bunch of these people just by pure happenstance, including Zach Carter the other day for a bigger feature. And he's already been discussing potential, what he called partner. He didn't say partnerships. He said, I'm going to partner, seeing if clothing store or a restaurant in Gainesville or Tampa, where he's from, maybe want to partner with him. Now, he can't strike a deal till July 1st. He can't hire an agent to help him until July 1st, but he can talk to people and see, hey, he mentioned is it Vale? There's a restaurant in town that has acai bowls or whatever that he likes. So, I mean, he could get free acai bowls and put an Instagram post up hey, go check out Vale. It's my favorite restaurant in town, and give him free advertising. He can do that. But he can't do it wearing his jersey, I don't think. And there's going to be missteps. There's going to be guys doing things they're not allowed to do, I'm sure, and not knowing, not because they're not educated well enough.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you talk to some players, and I've seen a lot of guys on Twitter talk about how they're coming out with their own clothing line, this, that, and the other. Maybe I'm crazy. I just don't see a whole lot of people buying collegiate athletes, quote, clothing line or their logo or whatever it is. I do see maybe some restaurants, as you mentioned, giving the kids free meals for posts on their Instagram because they have so many followers. That's some good advertising. But I'm still, I have a hard time, and maybe I'm just laying under a rock here, but I have a hard time thinking a lot of players are going to be getting paid a lot of money. Now, if you go back to last year's team, I think, and this was in place, I do see a Kyle Trask or a Kyle Pitts or Kadarius Toney maybe making some good money from signings or billboards or whatever. But am I crazy to think that these athletes are thinking they're going to be making a lot of more money than they probably will get?
Isn't that kind of the nature of the college athlete in some ways too, Shane? I mean, you
Yeah.
played, look, you played in the NFL for 14 years, but how many guys off your 1992 team had NFL careers at all? And I'm sure a lot of them assumed that was just a given that was going to happen. I mean, you got all these kids, show up Gator basketball players who, I mean, that sport particularly, I mean, these guys, think they're going pro like after a year. I mean, Andrew Nemhard explored the NBA draft after his first year, right? I think he's going back to Gonzaga for his senior year now this year. So at least he's shown the wisdom to not like jump in too early. But I think all these guys probably overpriced their value. And now they're terrific athletes. Look, we could have taken like almost the worst guy on the Gator football team, thrown him on my high school team, probably would have lost a game. So I'm not putting these guys down, but it's a whole nother world when you get to the NFL or being able to make that money. So they're thinking that's their mentality anyway. They think they're more marketable than they are as an athlete and probably as like a person selling their brand. Now, here's one of the interesting twists, I thought. I mean, the one thing with being able to, use the Gator logo, but the businesses like is it Davis Chevrolet? Is it Chevrolet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
So they have a huge account with the Gators already, right? Dealer cars, signage, whatever they do, ads. They might have the money and the gravitas with that department to be able to work a deal out and get Emory Jones over there wearing his jersey and all, and the logo and all that. But there are a lot of businesses in town, like a scooter shop might want Emory to come, like give him a free scooter and, sign, but he can't do it in his jersey. He can't do it in all that unless they're willing to pay Gator Properties, X thousands of dollars. And then like basically to pay a kid $1,000, get him over there and do that could end up costing you more money than it's worth. So I don't know that the kids understand that's how it works either, because I sure didn't.
Yeah, and also, so let's take the Gator jersey out of it, or the Gator logo. Let's use two car dealerships that I'm familiar with. Let's go Davis Chevrolet, and let's go Dale Murray Ford out in Stark. Okay, so for example, let's say, could this happen, Edgar? Because we're all trying to learn how this works. What if Davis Chevrolet says, "Okay, Emory, we're going to give you a Chevy Tahoe or something"? Well, what if Murray Ford says to, whether it's one of our defensive players, maybe even backup Anthony Richardson, we're going to give you the top of the line Ford F-150 all souped up. I mean, I don't know if they're able to do that, but don't you think that's going to cause some friction in the locker room?
Well, that's a whole element that I didn't even address in the story, and look, we're going to be writing about this more than just my story today. I mean, it was pretty comprehensive on a lot of fronts, but I left certain things out, and that's certainly among them. Yeah, look. Steve Spurrier I spoke to about this. Now, Coach years ago showed up at Destin, Florida. This is before I was back. I was still down in South Florida covering golf in the NFL, and this was in 2011. He showed up in Destin with the plan how to pay players. He felt players deserved a stipend. And then the cost of attendance did come a few years later. So he's been about that. He's been about paying these guys and stuff for a while. But I don't think that he, realized or that this was going to come, this part was going to come. But his things like, look, Russell Wilson makes $35 million. His left tackle makes 3 or 4 or whatever he makes. And he's like, is there friction in the locker room? Are they talking about Russell? Are they mad at Russell? Probably not. But the NFL, everybody's kind of making out to some level, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Here, it's like Emory Jones is getting, $12,000 or he's getting his rent free for the semester, let's say. Because that was one that was weird. It's like a kid can get, like, the landlord can say, "Hey, Emory, I'm going to give you free rent if you like go on Instagram and tell people come live at whatever apartment complex. It's a great place, and yada, 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 right? When the students start coming back.
Mhm.
And then you got the lineman who's like barely making ends meet. And he's like, hold on, I'm keeping this guy clean. I'm opening holes for him, whatever. I don't know. The example I think we used, didn't we talk about this, Shane? I thought, but let's say like FAU game, opening game. Well, FAU's probably got one pretty good cornerback, I'm guessing, right? Maybe even two. Well, who's the third receiver for the Gators? Let's just say it's Trent Whittemore in that game. He ends up catching 9 balls and a couple touchdowns. He's getting whatever the next week from whomever. And meanwhile, Jacob Copeland got targeted like 3 times because he was blanketed the whole game by a really good player. And he's thinking, man, I want the ball this week, man. Where's the ball?
Yeah.
Hey, where's mine?
No, I agree. It's one of those deals where you look at the running back position where Florida, pretty good room, but they play a lot of guys. That's what Dan likes to do. But guys want to score touchdowns. And, if running back 2 scores more than running back 3, there's going to be friction there if money is involved in appearances and all that kind of stuff. I just, Dan says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, are they going to let businesses work around the quote booster label to have kids? In Edgar's example with the car dealership, obviously Davis Chevrolet's a booster. So, because in the email that all the boosters got yesterday was, if you're a booster, you're not allowed to pay a player. Well, that makes absolutely no sense to me, because that's where all the businesses that would be going after these athletes are obviously Florida Gator boosters.
Yeah, look, man, if Dan Mullen doesn't know how this works, Edgar Thompson sure doesn't. And I mean, right? And he's like, hey, some of this stuff, hey, you go do whatever, sign an autograph or whatever. I forget the example he used. That seems fairly cut and dry. But then he's like, but you get a free car? Suddenly it's getting a little more complicated. You're doing ads. Suddenly it's like there's more layers. Now these kids have to inform the university within 4 days if they have any sort of like deal in place, whatever it is. And this stuff has to be vetted. They have to fill out forms. But again, look, man, I mean, Shane, don't you have things like on your to-do list that you haven't gotten to this week? I mean, here it is Friday. I mean, things I wrote down Sunday. It's, oh God, I got to do that, right? You think these kids, that's going to be front of mind for a kid who's like putting in all those hours and has got like studying and treatment and practice and yada, and his girlfriend, oh yeah, and I want to, right? And oh, damn, I forgot that form to fill out for X, Y, and Z. I didn't even think about that till I just said it. I mean, they're going to be chasing kids down and like, hey, dude, we need that form. That was due 8 days ago, and paperwork. I mean, what 20-year-olds thinking about doing paperwork? I mean, I'm in my 50s and forgetting to do half that stuff.
Yeah, and it could be a huge distraction, especially during the season. Like the example you use, after one game, this player gets offered this deal. You got to go through all the loopholes with the university. So anyway, it's something that we're going to be learning on a daily basis here. Edgar, before we let you go, I know you recently took a tour of Coach Spurrier's restaurant. What'd you think?
Oh, it's going to be spectacular. I mean, I will tell you what I thought, and I'm sure I need to go back and investigate. The bathroom's going to be crowded, first of all, because I'm wondering how they're going to keep traffic out of that place, because the dang wallpaper is all these plays. And Coach, I'm like, where did you get all those? And we just sat down and drew them up one day. So he's like drawing up plays from like 30 years ago, just right off the top of his head. I mean, he's like a savant with that stuff, as you know. But he's got a bunch. I'm sure he's got some cool plays that you had. He's got ones even with the Orlando Apollos. But that is a really cool aspect. But I mean, it's like a museum to Coach and other players. I mean, you have your Florida Georgia Hall of Fame trophy in there now, or Danny's Heisman's in there. It's just a classy joint. I mean, it's got all kinds of neat spaces, and it's huge. I mean, it's 19,000 square feet, and there's outdoors, and various aspects to it. The food sounds like it's going to be fantastic. Everything's going to be first class. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know a lot of people in the community are too. So I hope it does really well. I expect it to do really well. We'll have to see. Restaurants are a risky venture, but if anybody can pull it off in this town, it's Coach Spurrier.
Yep, no doubt about it. I can't wait for it to open up. But Edgar, good stuff as always. Let everybody know how they can check your workout.
OrlandoSentinel.com and OS Gators, as you promoted. Appreciate that. But yeah, the NIL story is interesting. It has a lot of layers to it. Anybody's interested in it, please go read it.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how it works out because I don't think players are going to get what they think they're going to get. B, I think it's going to cause problems. We shall see. Anyway, Edgar, good stuff as always, buddy. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, Shane. Thanks for having me.
Yep, that's Edgar Thompson. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline. Going to take our final time out of this Friday edition. Come back, we'll wrap it up.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, non-surgical regeneration, live pain-free. South State Bank, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Carter Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Center State Bank's now South State Bank, but we still put business first. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State still has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward member FDIC. I want to thank JC and Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel for joining the program today on the Titan MR Hotline. Have a great weekend, folks. Stay dry. And today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. See you next week.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.